Welcome to the instruction video for the SLX RECON to suit the LC300. In this video, we'll walk you through taking off the bumper, all the sensor components, installing them into the new bull bar. Then we'll walk you through the installation of the winch cradle, the recovery points, the bar itself, connecting it all back up, and then the bash plates. Let's get to it. We've got the bonnet open, removing these press button clips. Then we'll come around, there'll be a number in there, and then underneath the actual bar, a number of clips in there. Start with that. Guys, we got a top cover off. We'll now disconnect the 3 plugs here. There'll be a camera and a radar to disconnect down there. We'll undo these 10mm bolts, water line here, disconnect it, cable tie it, not too hard, you don't want to damage it, just so it stops leaking. We've also marked our flare line here. We will have to trim the flares. Inside here, there is a Torx bit, plus the 2 down here. Make sure you also release the one down here. This flare will come away, and up behind here, there will be another captive plug, if you will. Along the bottom here, you'll have to remove roughly about 22 of these 10mm. There'll be some extras hidden behind these flaps, and then also there'll be another 2 either side hidden as well, which you have to move away. I've pre-done this flare. You just use a trim tool, you remove it away. You can see the little clip there that we have to remove. Alright guys, we've disconnected our plugs. Down here we've disconnected our camera because we'll relocate that. Done all the washer jets, disconnected, checked everything's loose, taken our time. We should be able to just pull it away and then start working it away. It does get a bit stiff towards here. It's just a clip under the headlight. Taking your time, pulling the bumper away gently. If it's a little bit stuck, just double check that there's no bolts you've missed. Otherwise, give it a short, sharp yank and it'll come free. All right, we've got it loose. We've set it aside because we'll be taking the components out later on. We'll start by removing all these plastic lower trim pieces, and then behind here, where the cradle and chassis points will mount, walk you through removing the air dams. We'll remove this extra piece of weight here, both sides, and then we'll start fitting the winch cradle. Let's remove these air dams so we can access the crash bar. Likely 10mm. set them aside. You can trim them. It'll be in our online instruction video, or completely remove them. We'll remove that next. And this, we need a spanner, probably a 17 or a 19 for those. Yeah, 17. So it's 2 14s under that side. Okay, we've removed our crash bar. We've loosely put on our winch cradle. A good idea to align it is you would measure cross point from the inside of the headlight to here, and then that point to here to make sure it's centered, and then we'd start putting the factory bolts back in. If you are unsure about which bolts to use, there's the full parts list to cross off and check, which comes with each bar, as well as the full exploded diagram showing where every single bolt goes and what bolt it is, available on the website there. Full parts list, so you can view, download and print. We'll remove this part and that and start putting on the recovery points, and then I'll show you from there. All right, I've removed this piece here, this piece from under here. I've already cut this side and removed it. I'll just show you how to move this side. Little black head, another headlight trim bits here to hold the bumper. Should be just 2 10 mils. Take them off. You should just be able to pull it up, and that's pretty much it. If you had a white car or you weren't color coding your bull bar, you'd spray that and in a bit of this, just make it look more seamless. All right, we've measured the cradle and have it centered. We'll put in the factory bolts, plus then we'll read the bill of materials. Our bags are all nicely labeled. We'll get the bolts from them to finish off the front of the winch cradle. We have our labeled recovery points, right side, left side, chassis reinforcement brackets. We'll go through and put them on now. Okay, we'll walk you through the chassis collar reinforcements and the recovery points. Start by taking off the factory tow hook, which on the passenger side is a 17. We'll keep these bolts. Set them aside. Right, here we go. We have our bracket, our long chassis bolt. We'll take it apart, put the spring washer on last. Push that through there. Just let it hang. Get our other bracket from the other side. Washer, spring washer, the nut. We'll do everything loose till we have all the bolts in. $16 mil recovery point, chamfered edge, so you can use soft shackle. And we will just line her up with the existing factory bolt and bolt hole. All right, there's that side. All right, there's that side. Just hanging there loose. It's got our M12 40 mils, which are loose. Need a washer and a spring washer. Line them up. Have a look, there we go. Let's put it all in loose for now. Washer, spring washer, sorry, washer. Loose for now. All right, then we have all our M12 40 mils. Start filling out the factory holes. I'll actually have to loosen this side a bit. There we go. There we go. Alright, continue doing that and then we'll start tightening these up. There will also be another bolt hole which lines up directly underneath with the chassis rail. Let's see if we can see it here, up and there. Also using the same bolt, and then we are pretty much ready to tighten, and that is the winch cradle done. Right, just to recap, we're going to tighten our recovery points first. 2 factory, 2 M12 which were loose, spring washer and washer, make it tight. You can check the torque specs for M12, probably like 8 Newton meters, and then the one up here. Then from there, that's all tight. We've already put our bolts in here, also M12s. Got the M10 back to on the factory there. We don't utilize the top ones because of failure there, so it's got nearly 10 bolts each side holding it in. Don't forget to then tighten the chassis through. That one will just be around 40 Newton meters. Don't over tighten it, don't want to crush the chassis, it's only to stop it from pulling forward. So this should be nice and aligned now, and then we'll start setting up the bull bar. Okay, so onto the wiring. With the Recon bar, comes standard with 4 30-watt cube lights. We've designed the inner 2 to go on the factory fog light, all plug and play. Simply connect to the factory harness, and the other egg DT connector, waterproof, to the light. The LC300 itself doesn't have a high beam output standard, so we have manufactured our own with the module. I'll walk you through that. Designed in Colombia of all places. All of it, 100% click and connect. We'll start by removing the battery box lid, and then we'll work our way through. I'll show you how to get to the inner kick panel there and how to install it. Okay, so we've taken the sensor components out. Heat gun, or use a pry tool to remove the double-sided taped in washer jet. Then there's a number of screws along here because we have to remove the grill. We also have to take out the camera because we're going to relocate that. We've marked our sensor locations. It's not in this video, but we marked our sensor locations which way is up before we transferred the whole harness to the other bar. Pretty much now what we'll do is we will remove the grill part completely because we will need to trim this part off the grill. We'll show that next. Okay, so we removed the washer jets out. They're just double-sided taped in. Pry tool or apply a little bit of heat to it. We marked our sensor locations. We've already removed it, which way is up, and transferred the whole harness in. We'll have to relocate our camera into the bar, just screw straight in. We'll now remove the grill off the actual bumper bit. The air vents on the side stay in there, and then we'll start working on the actual bar itself. Okay guys, in this video we're going to set up the Recon bars. I'll show you how to put the cameras in, the LED lights, and all the wiring. So in this LC300, we've got the camera in the middle here. Uses supplied bolts. I've just put this one loosely so I can get into it. Let's lift that one up. We've got a little cutout here to hold it. And then we will put our spring washer on and our nut, and we'll go ahead and do that for the rest of them. Let's show you how to do that. Then on the LED bar, obviously this is this one's a steady 31.5. Should just be able to drop it in place. Just lift these bolts up a bit. That one there, that one there. And that's how we would do the steady. Just obviously line it up. Just using the supplied bolts there. We'll tighten that later. Then on these bars, we give you adhesive promoter and then molded. So this adhesive promoter, you rip it up and you would apply it around every single hole. So when you do the 3M stick on, which you would just pull off gently. It's very sticky. It's a good idea to also clean this side as well. This is just for demonstrations. Then you'd peel that off, and obviously the sensor, we've marked which way it goes, and we would press that into there and that would stick firmly. It comes with a screw-on cap. You would put the sensor in it and lightly screw down the sensor itself. Obviously this bar actually has a sensor, so you would actually push out the middle bit there. Just keep in mind, you don't want these little tabs hitting the sensor, so it's a good idea to gently file them, not to scuff the front. Then the same with if you had washer jets. A lot of the bars come with 3M laser cut double-sided tape. The brackets on this bar for the GR, but we've also given you 3M double-sided tape. So you'd remove this old tape, it's already been done, apply the 3M, and then obviously clean that area as well, and then stick it in there. With the LED lights, we've got the two either side. The wiring harness comes standard to connect 5 lights, which would be, to connect 3 lights, which would be the LED bar and the 2 outside 30-watt lights. It's all plug and play. You'd stick the douche connector into there, and in a second I'll show you it as we start to wire it up. And then the inside ones typically go on your existing factory fog light circuit. Also plug and play. We've got adapters which plug straight into the factory harness, and we'll show you a little bit more in a second. Okay, we're still on setting up the bar. With the sensors, after we've applied our adhesive promoter, your fingers and anything the 3M touches will be very sticky. It's a good idea to get a blade or something like that to work off the covers and to also stick it down, because once it sticks, it's never coming up. So this sensor side, we've pre-fit it, so I know that this is the correct orientation for those posts, and push it down. We have the passenger side up. Alright, so we'll just bring that in there for now. That will sit on there. Then we have our top plate and our screws. It's just a matter of screwing it down evenly so you distribute the pressure, and then just check the sensor is gone through correctly and is not sitting at any angle. You haven't over tightened one side. Should be able to move a little bit, but not much. That's good. Stiff. Okay, now this bar Comes with the 3M adhesive. I'll also put the adhesive promoter on there. You must cut off this tab for lower models because these brackets here are designed for the GR, so that lower model will actually press it away from the metal. So we'll cut that tab off, and then it allows it to give a perfect fit. I'll show on this side, we've already done this side. We got our sensors in, our water jet is already stuck in there, and we've checked the front. Now, after this step, we'll show you how to connect up the wiring harnesses. Continuing on setting up the lighting in the Recon bar. This bar, the LC300, has the wing support. We've bolted in here, M10, nice and bolted in. With the inner 30 watt, it actually connects straight to the factory fog light harness. All this is included. DT waterproof connectors, plug and play. Then this one is the connection for the fog light, plug and play. I'll put it in the right way, plug and play. Then we actually have the complete harness, wiring harness for all the lighting, which is included. This is the second light. You plug in the adapter like that. And then, because we are running a LED bar, we've got the upgraded wiring harness, which can handle all these lights. We'll get our LED bar light connection, which is a splitter. Plug that in, plugging this into our harness. All waterproof connections, and then we plug in this in. So basically what we got here is got the outside two lights on the relay circuit with the LED bar. So that will be on our highlight beam circuit. And then we've got our plug and play inner fog light on the fog light circuit. This is dual purpose. This is if your model is say a Ranger or a Hilux. We'll remove this and make good, make sure it's waterproof. And then what we'll do is, using this wing support, we will cable tie everything nicely, maybe a bit of split tube, and that's about it. Okay, everything is plugged in. We've run our water line through the cutouts here, run our wiring harness behind there, checked our camera, camera's all plugged in, LED bars plugged in, cable tied and secured. Now it's pretty much bolting the bar on, and then we'll try to feed through our harness up through the engine bay, and this is left loose because a lot of this will get clipped back to the factory car. And that pretty much concludes how to wire up the SLX RECON bar lighting. We've taken the grill out so we can access the inner bolts, use that to tighten up, and this original plastic insert we removed, we've put back in so we can support the grill, connect all our cameras up, washer jets. Now what we'll do is pretty much finish off, put the grill in, secure it in, put the third bash plates on and the middle bash plate, and then get onto wiring. Okay, so we've put our grill back in. We've secured it to the lower plastic trim piece we've put back in there. And then we've plugged in our radar. We've fed our complete harness through this gap here. You just take the relay off, push it through, and then we'll start removing the battery box and getting to the high beam connection down there behind the footwell. All right, so we're up to cutting the guards. We'll have a template available on the website which will show the measurements. Otherwise, another good way to do it is you line up the bash plate on the car temporarily and then mark a white line to show where you're going to cut it to suit the profile of the third bash plate. Does make life easier if you cut them before pushing the bar on, or if you release more the inner trim guard here so you can push the bar back, because this bit will tuck in later. We're all done fitting the bash plates. We use the factory holes at the back. There's 2 silver spacers in the kit that you may need to get the bash plate to sit level. Well, we're putting on a number plate now. Basically, flip up number plate. We'll remove the accessible winch pieces here, which is pull out so you can access the winch clutch to hold the nut to install the number plate. Okay, Okay, we're up to the wiring. The Recon bar for the LC300 includes the high beam CAN bus module. 300 series doesn't have a traditional output for the high beam circuit, it's a digital one. So pretty much to make it work, we will take off the cover, remove the battery. There'll be a little firewall with a little nib down there. We'll cut the nib off, we'll push through our section of the wiring harness, we'll tape it up, we'll show how to do that later. And this is all just plug and play into the module here. And then the other end, which is now your physical high beam output, will simply plug in and connect to our previously installed wiring kit. To make life easier, there's a nice little Toyota push button clip there and one there. That will just come away, give us small access. There is the firewall down behind here. We'll disconnect the battery, remove the battery, and I'll show you how to feed it through. So, battery removed, cover. You can see the grommet down there. One's already been taken up by a Tow Pro, so we'll use the other, push it through, and then I'll show you what we've got to do inside the cab. To get access to the high beam circuit, there's a screw that holds this kick panel in. You need to move that, this, and there's also one there. This should just pull up and click out. There's that one. And there it is. That one there. All right, and then we'll show you how to connect it up. Right, so we're about to pass our wire through the grommet. We're actually going to take our press button switch in through and feed it behind the dash, and also our high beam module there. So pretty much, here's your high beam module. Here's our takeoff. Should plug into there, click in like that. And then this will click in together. And then when we pull that module through, we'll connect it up there. And we'll secure this in there nicely. Cable tie will find a nice spot to bolt it and then put it all back together. All right, we've cut the guards, installed the third bash plate. Got the vent for airflow under there. Very nice. Third bash plate. Now we'll remove the factory bash plate to install our middle bash plate. Okay, we're all done and dusted with the install. Just walk through some of the points. 30-watt fog lights, both sides on the factory fog light circuit. The outside and lead bar on the wire harness and high beam circuit. Got the extra airflow vent under here. Third bash plate, center bash plate, the back cross member there. We've got bash plate, removable mesh vents. These pop out for grommets in there to hold them. Both sides, more airflow, full sensor compatible C300.